get all the adjustments out, get you feeling better. All right, guys, welcome to Yogalates. Get to your mats. We are going to get started. As always, bare feet is encouraged. I'm going to have the music on a little low in the background. I don't like it when it's too loud. I want you to be able to really hear my voice and listen to those cues. Let's start with the feet about hip width. Sun salutation to start. Big breath in. Bring the arms overhead. Reach as high as you can through the fingers. Draw your abs in tight. Squeeze your glutes. Press your feet into the floor. Really find your center. Draw your belly button in. Reach higher. Let's take one more big breath into it. Now when we go into our forward fold, exhale. Keep your knees locked. Take your hands down as low as you can with your knees fully extended, and then lift your toes off the ground. And we're going to go right into a sway. Forward fold, sway. Toes are lifted up. We have our knees fully extended. And we're gently folding our head, chest into the knees and legs as we sway the hips side to side slowly. 3 breaths. Keep your posterior chain elongated as much as you can by locking the knees straight, by lifting your toes off the floor. Trace your hands down as low as you can. Grab onto your shins, ankles, or take the hands to the floor if you have that kind of mobility in your backside. 2 more breaths. Folding your head in more and more with each exhale as you sway the hips. And we're going to feel that stretch. Slowly move from the back of one leg into the other as we sway. 1 more breath. Let's unroll the spine up. Drag the arms up. Let's give the head a break. Take a big breath in. Sun salutation. Reach higher. Through the fingers, let your rib cage lift. Draw the abs tight. Squeeze the glutes. Press your feet into the floor. 1 more breath in. And exhale, forward fold with a sway. See if you can get a little bit deeper. We're going to do that 1 more time, so there's another opportunity after this. Relax your head down. Slowly sway your hips. Find a rhythm with your breath. Always move with your breath. 2 more. Feel that stretch move from the back of one leg into the other as you sway the hips. Hands can be on your shins, ankles, or floor if you're able to, but keep the knees straight. 1 more breath. Articulate the spine up. Unroll 1 vertebrae at a time. Take that nice big breath in as you come to sun salutation. Bring the arms overhead. Reach as high as you can through the fingers. Draw the abs tight. Squeeze the glutes. 1 more big breath in. Last forward fold on your exhale. Take it down. Relaxing the knees. Sway the stretch side to side. 2 more breaths. We're going to be doing a pretty good amount of poses and sequences standing up today. Just to give you a heads up. Let's give it 1 more breath before we unroll up to shoulder rolls with cactus arms. Let's give the head a break. Unroll the spine up. Take your feet out into an athletic stance. We're going to roll the shoulders up. We're going to open the hands wide. We're going to squeeze the shoulder blades back and down with your elbows. Squeeze the shoulder blades back and down with your elbows. Pull your elbows back as far as you can. Open your chest up. We're actively stretching the chest, upper back, really warming up the whole shoulder girdle. Abs are tight. Spread the fingers wide. We roll up to the ears. We pull the elbows back and down as we pinch the shoulder blades. Keep going. Remember, don't worry about following me exactly. I want you to move with your breath. Inhale as you round up. Exhale as you pull the shoulder blades back and down with your elbows, those big cactus arms. Here we go. Let's do 3 more breaths. 2 more breaths in our cactus arms. Roll up, pull the elbows back, squeeze the shoulder blades down. 1 more time. Okay, perfect. Take the widest stance you can with your feet where you still feel really strong though. Good and strong in the legs, like you're not going to slide out. Make sure your toes are forward. Lock your fingers together behind you for mudra if you can. If you don't have that kind of mobility in your shoulders, you can just extend your arms straight back and as high as you can. Take a nice big breath in, pull the shoulders back, and on your exhale, take the head down slowly as you extend your arms up as high as you can, as straight as you can. Let's take 3 breaths. Keep the knees straight. Relax your head down as you lift your arms up as high as you can. We're stretching the chest and upper back. 2 breaths. Let your head hang down heavier and heavier as you lift those arms up higher and higher with each exhale. 1 more breath. Good. Keep the knees straight. Take your hands down your left leg as far as you can without bending the knee. Fold into your left knee for 3 breaths. We're stretched right back to hamstrings. We're moving around. Went from the shoulder girdle for a minute, gave the hamstrings a break. Right back to them. Relax into that left knee and thigh. Deeper and deeper. 2 more breaths. Try to relax your body as you fold down. It will allow you to get deeper into your stretch. Use the breath. Let's give it 1 more breath, folding into the left knee without bending it and keeping the toes straight forward. Take a breath in. Walk the hands over to your right leg as low as you can grab. If you can grab your foot or ankle, great. If you need to stay up here, that's just fine. Find your sticking point, relax into your right knee. Let's take 3 breaths past your sticking point. 2 more breaths. Every week we work through our sticking points little by little. Relax your body as much as you can with each breath. Try to get a little deeper into that fold over to the right knee and thigh. Let's give it 1 more breath. Real big bicep femoris stretch. The outer hamstring head. Good. Take your hands right under your chest. Tabletop. If you need to bend your knees, in fact, I want you to bend your knees a bit. We're going to go into a nice deep sumo fold. Soften your knees up. Walk the hands back through the legs as far as you can. Get all the way back on those fingertips with your palms down. Dive the head, gently pull the head down and through the legs as deep as you can. You can bend your knees as much or as little as you want. Bend the knees more, open the hips. We start stretching the inner thighs and inner hips. Keep the knees a little straighter. It'll be more of your hamstrings. Let's get into that low back too. 2 more breaths. Keep walking those fingertips back, gently pulling a little bit deeper. Let's give it 1 more breath. Okay, good. Walk the hands forward. Unroll the spine up slowly, 1 vertebrae at a time. You know, it's been a really long time since we've done any triangles. We're going to go and do a very simple triangle sequence. Turn your left toes straight out to the side. So if you're facing the monitor, have your left toes pointed out. Your back foot is still pivoted. So your back foot, your toes are still forward, the direction you're facing. That means the left heel is pointing right to the inside of that back right foot. And this is why we call it triangle. From here on out, you should be able to move through your hips without having to move your legs or feet. So make sure you feel really strong in your legs. Not too wide, not too narrow, the strongest, widest stance you can. Take your left hand down that front lead leg, extend your right arm up straight. We're going to trace that left hand down as low as you can, keeping your chest tall. Pretend like there's a wall behind you, and we're tracing down it, keeping the back flat. Maybe you're stuck up here, that's fine. Reach behind you when you get to your lowest point. Take your hand down as low as you can. On your breaths, if you can do a full triangle and take the hand all the way to the floor, that's great. 3 breaths, whatever triangle position you're in, keep the knees straight. Reaching behind you on each breath, reaching up through the fingers. If you have your hand all the way to the floor, or you just feel really strong and solid and stable, turn your head, look up your right arm as you reach to the sky. Let's give it one more breath, and we're going to go to modified reverse triangle. Bend your left knee. So if you're up here on your knee, that's fine. You couldn't get to the floor. Bend that left lead knee. Take the right hand down to the floor wherever you feel strong. Somewhere under the chest, shoulder, next to the left foot. On your breath, bring the left arm up and reach behind you. Press your back flat against that imaginary wall behind you. 3 breaths. 2 breaths. Keep reaching up through the fingers, back behind you. Keep that back right leg planted firm and straight. Get some good movement in the low back and kind of stretching that back outer side of that left hip, of that lead left leg. 1 more breath. Take your left hand back down to join your right, nice and slow. Walk the hands back under your chest. Turn your left toes forward. Bend the knees if you need to. Walk them through the legs for a deep, wide sumo fold. Take a couple of breaths into it. See if you can get a little deeper. Maybe bend the knees a little bit more this time. Open up the hips. Get more into the low back. Bring the hands under your chest. Slowly unroll the spine up 1 vertebrae at a time. Your feet should still be in the same place. Now we're going to turn the right toes forward for our triangle sequence. Trace your hand down your leg slowly. Follow the same steps. Reach up through your fingers. Try to get the arms in a nice straight line. Again, if you can stay right up here, your hamstrings are really tight. We're asking those hamstrings to stretch as we trace down the leg. Reach behind you, flatten your back out, palm forward, and then keep trying to trace the hand down lower. 3 breaths. Modify as needed. Make this your flow. Big triangle pose. Strong in the legs, stretching the right hamstrings. Get some good movement in the low back and left hip. Let's give it 1 more breath, guys. Bend the right knee. Take your left hand down to the floor to join your right, or just bring it down if you had your hand on your leg still. Make sure you feel strong in the legs. On your breath, nice and slow. Remember, precise, controlled movements. Always bring the right arm up. 3 breaths. Past your sticking point. Just going to do 1 more thing standing up after this, and we're going to take it down to the mat. A little stronger start today. Let's give it 1 more breath. Reaching up and back behind you through those right fingers. Bring the right hand down to join your left. Walk them under your chest. Turn your right toes forward so we're in tabletop. We're going to go right into alternating lateral low lunge poses. We're bending one knee as we drop the hips down. We're keeping the other leg perfectly straight. Keep your feet flat so we get the ankles moving and adjusted, getting the knees moving and adjusted, actively stretching the adductor complex, all the muscles in the inner thighs up into the inner hip and groin. Move with your breath. Don't worry about moving with me. Inhale as you transition. Exhale as you drop down into your stretch, deeper and deeper. Stay fluid. Hold on to the stretch as long as you like. I'm just doing a quick little count of 3. Get blood flowing in the legs. Get those ankles and knees warmed up really good. Let's do 3 more breaths or so. Keep trying to get a little deeper. 2 more breaths in your lateral low lunge stretches. 1 more breath. Come back to the center, tabletop. Always unroll the spine up nice and slow, 1 vertebrae at a time. And we're going to take it down to the mat. So I'd like to ask you to step to one backside of your mat. Go ahead and just kneel down 1 knee at a time. And we'll start in a nice, gentle child's pose. Have your feet close together, knees out a bit wider. Sink your butt and hips back as deep onto your feet as you can. We're going to stretch the top of the feet and ankles, low back. It's the back's happy place. Sink down. Relax into your mat, keeping your hips down and back as deep as you can. Let's take a few recovery breaths. Take the energy all the way down to 0 after that little tougher starting sequence of triangles. Each breath, we're trying to sink deeper and deeper into the mat, deeper and deeper back onto the feet. Stretch your arms out in front of you big, keeping your butt back. Last breath in our child's pose. Get lots of air in, recover, restore, get that energy all the way down to 0. Okay, come into our classic table pose position. Have your knees directly under your hips, arms directly under your shoulders. We're going to start with a single arm lat stretch without changing the angle of your knees and hips. So don't push forward when we do this stretch. Keep the knees right under the hips. Take the left hand, slide it out as far as you can in front of you with your thumb up to the ceiling. Make a karate chop. We're going to go to single arm lat stretch. Remember, don't push your hips forward to get further. Reach out, keep the knees under the hips. Push your chest down towards your mat and then turn and look over your right shoulder as you push your chest and left armpit down towards the mat. Reach out through the left fingers. Your right hand is on the floor next to you. Wherever you feel comfortable and stable, you should get a really big stretch. That left lat muscle right behind the shoulder and armpit down the upper side of the back on that left side. 2 more breaths. Really twist and look over that right shoulder as you push your left chest and armpit down into the floor. Just give it 1 more breath. And then we're just going to slide that left hand back under the shoulder. Slide the right hand out with the thumb up, karate chop position. Push your head, chest down. Find the initial stretch. Find your sticking point. And then turn and look over your left shoulder as you push down deeper and deeper with each breath. Let's take 3 of them. Past an 8 of discomfort, never pain, mild to moderate discomfort, never pain. It's a really good stretch stretch for somebody who's got a kind of rounded upper back, forward head position. Got to stretch those big lat muscles and the chest muscles when you have that forward head posture. One more breath. Drag that right hand back. Come into table pose. We're going to do a heel press bird dog combo. Step your right foot straight back. So we have the left knee underneath the hip still. We are pressing the right heel back into the floor. So we're heel pressing. You see that? Push the heel back, drive it into the floor. Starting to feel that stretch behind the ankle and up into the calves. That's what we want. Make sure your right hand is a little bit out in front of your shoulder. So the right leg is back, right hand is straight out in front of the shoulder. We're going to extend that left arm up and we're going to get this nice kind of counter stretch effect. So we're reaching up and forward through the left fingers, keeping the head down. Look at your mat. As we raise that arm up, we're stretching the lats again. We're pressing that opposite right heel back, stretching the back of the right leg up all the way to behind the knee. If you're really driving that heel, 2 breaths. Press that heel back, reach higher and further with each breath. Let's do one more. Okay, come to table pose, modified downward facing dog. Let's give that right wrist and shoulder a break. Knees under the hips. Again, don't move your hips forward. Put your hands, both of them, out in front of you with the palms down as far as you can, wider than the shoulders. Turn your head to one side, wherever you'll be able to see me best. Now push your chest and head down between your arms towards your mat as deep as you can. Pull your shoulder blades back as you reach out through the fingers. Press your hands firmly into the floor. Keep reaching, keep pressing the chest down. Should be getting a really good stretch through the chest, front of the shoulders, and the upper back. 2 more breaths. Get the nice angle we're making in the back and spine. We're getting some good stretching and lengthening in the back and spine here. Get those arms out as long as you can as you push your chest down. Pull your shoulder blades back as you reach. 1 more breath. Okay, good. Drag the hands back. Come into our table pose. We need to do our heel press bird dog. Opposite side. Step your left leg back. Drive the heel into the floor. Make sure your left hand is a little bit out in front of your shoulder. Straight. Take a breath in. On your exhale, raise the right arm up as high as you can, but keep your head down. Look at your mat as you raise the arm up. See if you can get your arm in line with your ear, if not higher. Keep pressing the heel back as we reach through those opposite fingers. 2 breaths. 1 more breath. Press the heel, reach through the fingers, and good. Come to table pose. Let's sink back for just a minute. Give yourself a rest. Child's pose, our recovery position, the body's happy place. Everybody loves child's pose. Sink back. Let's take the energy all the way back down to 0 before we move on. Always trying to sink deeper into our child's pose. Holy cow, it's 5 till. Time's flying by. Let's take 1 more breath, and I'm going to ask you to just sit up and have a seat on your butt. Swing your legs out in front of you. I'm skipping an entire sequence. We need to do hour-long classes. What do you guys think? Do this for an hour, 45 minutes? We'll talk about it. Sit up tall. We're going to do a modified boat to a forward spine stretch. Knees fully extended and locked. Toes pointed to the ceiling, flexed towards you. Okay? Keep the calves as long as you can with the hamstrings. Sit up as tall as you can. Reach crown of your head to the ceiling. Reach straight out through the fingers with the palms down. Take a breath in. I want you to peel your spine back, roll back, one vertebrae at a time, but don't go to the floor and don't let your feet lift. If you can get 45 degrees, that's great. Just getting a little ab activation. Take a big breath. Reach through the fingers. Remember, feet down, and we're not laying. One more big breath in. And on our exhale, we forward spine stretch. Reach out through the arms as you fold down into your knees and legs. Let's take 3 breaths into our forward spine stretch. Remember, relax your body. The more relaxed you can be, take as much of the tonus out of the rest of your body as you can. It will allow you to focus more on your stretch, get deeper into your stretches. 2 more. On those exhales, relaxing the head, chest, down into the legs, deeper between the arms as you reach out through the arms. Again, look at the nice angle and lengthening we're creating in the back and spine, stretching the hamstrings. Let's give it one more breath and peel yourself back nice and slow. Make sure you have room behind you. We're going to roll all the way back this time. Unroll all the way back so you're nice and flat. Make sure you have room behind you. We're going to do a quick good morning to cradle sequence. Get as long as you can. Good morning stretch. Reach back through your fingers. Reach down through your toes. Everything is pulling away from the trunk and spine, getting longer and flatter with each breath. Abs are in tight. Keep reaching back through the fingers, down through the toes. One more breath. And cradle. Take the knees into your chest. Wrap the arms around them. Hug them down as firmly as you can. Push your chest to your knees, hug the knees to your chest, squeeze the abs, turn yourself into the smallest little ball you can make. Squeeze the abs in. Let's take a couple more breaths to it. One more breath. Good. Lay your head back. Extend your left leg down straight. Keep your right knee over your hip for single lying hip twists. Take your right arm straight out to your side with your palm up. Turn your head, look down your right arm. Take that right knee over slowly to the left in our classic single lying hip twist pose. Take a few breaths into it. We're going to have to do a very quick cool down today. 2 breaths. Keep that right shoulder anchored. That's our anchor point to get leverage on the stretch of the back of that right hip into the right side of the low back. All the posterior hip muscles, glutes piriformis up into the erector muscles on the right side of the low back. One more breath. Return your knee back over your hip slowly. Extend it down straight. Bring your left knee up 90 degrees over the hip is key to focus on the hip stretch. Left arm out to your side, palm up. Use your right hand right to the outside of that left knee to guide it over. I find it helps if you turn your head and look down your left arm to keep that left shoulder down. Find your sticking point where your hip says no further. Take 3 breaths past it slowly. One of my favorite stretches right here. It hits all the right areas. Always get a nice adjustment on this. There it was. Let's give it one more breath. This will have to be our last stretch for today. I skipped a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, return your left knee back over your hip slowly. Extend it down straight to join your right leg. Relax your arms to your sides with your palms up. Let your toes plop out. Close your eyes. We're going to finish with 5
Nice, long, deep belly breaths in Shavasana or corpse pose here. Close your eyes. Here we go. 5 big, deep, long belly breaths starting now. 5. Every bit of air in and out you can. 4 more long, deep belly breaths. Let everything get heavy. 3 big, long, deep belly breaths. Two more, as long and as deep as you can. Get lots of oxygen back in the body. One more, final long, deep belly breath. Every bit of air you can get in. Blow every bit of air of that back out as slow as you can. Before you open your eyes and sit up, bring your arms behind you. Bring your feet a little off the floor if your back's okay with it, and stretch out as long and as big as you can. You can keep your feet down if your back doesn't like it. Take a big breath into it. Wake yourself back up. Let your feet come down when you're ready. Roll up or sit up any way you like. And that is where we're going to have to stop our Yogalates flow for today, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that one. I hope you feel better. More importantly, let me pause.